What's up, everybody? This is a brief little presentation on how plants reproduce by the best group in the class, the one and only AJJk, Amanda, Janneth, Justin, and Kyera. There are two types of life cycles. You have the both haploid and diploid generations, which we will talk about later. The diploid plant structure is called sporophytes, while the haploid plant structures are called gametophytes. Sporophytes, as mentioned earlier, is a diploid plant structure, which means that they can form both sperms and eggs. They produce spores through meiosis or sexual reproduction, which we will go in more depth later in the presentation. They are usually tracheophytes or vascular plants, which means that they have vessels, roots, stems, and leaves to carry water and food within the plant. Some examples include grass, trees, and sunflowers, to name a few. While sporophytes are a diploid plant structure, gametophytes are a haploid plant structure. They produce spores through mitosis or asexual reproduction. Gametophytes are usually bryophytes. Some examples include mosses, algae, and liverworts. As mentioned earlier, sporophytes produce spores through meiosis or sexual reproduction. In meiosis, the process starts off as a diploid cell. The cell then splits, becoming haploid cells. The haploid cells then become gametes, which are the sperm and eggs. When the sperm and eggs combine, fertilization occurs. When fertilization occurs, a zygote is formed. This figure shows the process of meiosis. As you can see, the highlighted portion shows how the egg is formed. First, it is formed into a megasporocyte. Then it turns into a megaspore. Then it becomes a megagametophyte, and finally becomes an egg. This is the same figure, however, the highlighted portion is now showing how a sperm is formed. First, it is a microsporocyte, and then it becomes a microspore. Then it becomes a microgametophyte, and finally, the sperm is formed. Now that I have briefly explained what meiosis is, let's turn our attention to mitosis. Mitosis is a process through which a plant cell divides and creates two identical copies of itself. It goes through 6 different stages, which are the interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. Now let's briefly go through the phases of mitosis. In interphase, the cells grow and prepare to copy all the cell's DNA. They also pair up into matches. In prophase, the cells start to produce centrosomes to help prepare for the metaphase. In metaphase, the chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell and the centrosomes connect to the centromeres. In anaphase, the centrosomes start to retract and pull apart the pairs of chromosomes. In telophase, the cells start to make two new cells. A new nucleus starts to form, and the cleavage starts to make a new cell membrane to separate the DNA. In cytokinesis, 2 identical cells have been created through mitosis. In order for seeds to reproduce, they must transport. Some of the methods that seeds transport is by wind pollination, beetle pollination, fly pollination, and bee pollination. Not only is seed transport important for plant reproduction, it also causes cross-pollination to occur. Cross-pollination is helpful because it increases genetic variability and fitness. The group AJJk would like to thank you for your time and attention. We hope that you have learned something about how plants reproduce. Thanks again. Goodbye.